Alright guys, it's BLM here. It's time for another video. Now this is going to be a review of a Power Rangers episode. Now, yeah, I pretty much decided that I'm going to start doing reviews for individual episodes. And the way I'm going to be picking these episodes is by random. I pretty much put every Power Ranger episode in a spreadsheet, and what I'm going to do is just do a random number generator. And whatever number it is, I'll go to that episode and just do a review of that episode. And it was really surprising which episode it actually came to first. I was like, it just blew my mind. And it ended up being Once a Ranger, which, if you don't know, is the 15th anniversary episode of Power Rangers in the series Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, which is quite possibly one of the worst Power Rangers seasons. However, Once a Ranger is the best episode of the season. It's like undeniable. If you ask anyone what's the best episode of Operation Overdrive, it's an easy answer. It's freaking Once a Ranger. Just because it's the best episode of the season doesn't necessarily make it a epic episode. I don't know. It's an episode that I try to love. However, for some reason, I just can't. I do like the episode. I think it's a really good episode. However, it's just not. It's not to Forever Red caliber. So pretty much the plot of the episode, if you don't know, is Thrax, who is the son of Zed and Rita, escapes from his dumpster and brings together all the villains of Operation Overdrive and makes them work together as a team to defeat the Rangers. Now, this is something I really didn't like, to be honest, because I never understood. This is not in just Operation Overdrive, but also in Bokenger. Why the villains never teamed up. Now, I understand it's a TV show and they need to make it last longer and stuff like that, but I mean, it seems like it's like common sense that you would team up at some point. I mean, even in like the premiere or something, I would have liked to see like them just have a whole bunch of villains that just team up, even though some of the villains didn't occur until later. But I mean, still, like, I wish that they could have at some point at least have it where the villains teamed up in a normal episode. It just makes no sense that it takes them over half the series to finally think, oh wait, we should work together to defeat the Rangers. And right after this episode, they freaking completely forget about it. Like, okay, yeah, let's go back to this going together. Mainly because it kind of didn't work, but I mean, whatever. Thrax gets to get them all together, and they attack the Rangers, and they actually win, surprisingly. They actually had the villains do a combined attack, which I was really happy to see that, because you never really see that too much in Power Rangers, where the villains all work together to do one attack, and they actually take the time to make the sequence in the background, stuff like that, and they are able to destroy the connection to the morphing grid somehow. Not really explained, but who gives a fuck. This is another thing that I wish they used more often, that they actually destroyed the powers. I mean, they did quite a bit. They did in Mystic Force a few times, and they do usually in the finales of seasons, but I wish they did it more often, just in the middle, where the Rangers lose their powers and they're all hopeless and shit. And right after that, the Sentinel Knight recruits 5 other Rangers, and I was really happy with the casting for the 5 Rangers that they brought back. First is Adam, the Black Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, the second one, technically. I like them bringing back Adam. I think it's awesome to see him as a leader, considering that he was on 3 teams and none of them as a leader. So I think it was awesome to see him as a leader finally. And he was definitely my favorite out of the 3 replacements that came in Season 2. So I was happy to see him back. Bridge, I'm mixed on. I really like Bridge as a character, and I really like Matt Austin as an actor. However, the thing that I did not like is him being the Red Ranger. Now, I understand that the storyline, stuff like that they use, and also that Brandon J. McLaren and Chris Violet did not want to come back. Well, I think Chris Violet was actually busy, and Brandon J. McLaren did not want to come back because his ex-girlfriend what's her name? Emma Lahana, whatever. The one that plays Kira, and she was coming back, so Brandon J. McLaren didn't want to come back because he thought it would be awkward and shit. So I understand why I didn't come back, but I did not like Bridge as a Red Ranger. He just doesn't seem like a Red Ranger. He seemed okay as blue and green, but as red, it just seems kind of out of place. And again, I guess it's better than having Nick back. I was happy to see Xander back as well. Xander is, in my opinion, the best one out of the Mystic Force Rangers. None of them are really that good, to be honest. They're all pretty bad, in my opinion. But I did like Xander the most out of the bunch, so I was happy to see him back since they were going to bring back a Mystic Force Ranger anyway. Let's see, Kira, I was happy to see back. I mean, they kind of had to bring her back because she was the only girl in Dino Thunder. I don't know, I was happy to see her back. She was definitely my favorite character from that season. I like Tori as well. I mean, she's not my favorite character on Ninja Storm, not by a long shot, but I did like Cam and Shane a lot. But she was definitely in the middle, but she was a good character, so I was happy to see her back as well. Now, one complaint I do have about the Rangers is the fact that they didn't bring back a 6th one. I mean, it made Tyzon look separated from everyone else. He didn't even get his freaking morpher back from another Ranger. I mean, in the scene where after the Rangers get their powers back, I wish they could have brought back, I don't know, I guess the only one you could have brought back was Merrick, which isn't necessarily a great choice, but I mean, I guess that's the only one they could have brought back, considering that they didn't really want to bring back that many people from Saban. I mean, the only one was Adam, or Johnny on Bosch. So I guess the only one that they could have brought back was Eric, unless they switched it around and stuff, but that would kind of confuse things. I guess I understand why they didn't bring back a 6th Ranger, but I kind of wish that they did. And what I did like about this team, though, is the fact that the Red Ranger wasn't the leader. I'm a big fan of Red Rangers, but I think it gets kind of cliched and stuff. It's overused where the Red Ranger is like blatantly the leader. I mean, there are 3 seasons where the Red Ranger isn't the leader, with that being Mighty Morphin, Alien, and Time Force. But I think it's nice to see it where it's not blatantly obvious that the Red Ranger isn't the leader. Because in Time Force, I mean, the Red Ranger's always in the middle. Same thing with Alien. Most of the time, the Red Ranger is the middle, like the person in the middle or the person that's leading them. However, in Mighty Morphin it is different, but I mean, we haven't seen it in a while where the Red Ranger isn't blatantly the leader, so I was kind of happy to see this as well, where Adam was the leader and not Bridge, because technically Bridge would be a terrible leader, which is why I don't agree with him being the Red Ranger, but whatever. I do like all the references they add to this episode, because, I mean, there's actually a lot of references if you really pay attention. I mean, there's, Thrax bringing together all the villains could be a reference to the United Alliance of Evil, which was in space. The fact that, Alpha says, what would Zordon do? Another reference. Dang it! Oh yeah, this is something else I want to complain about. Friggin' Alpha. I don't understand why they couldn't get the original voice actor back. I mean, it could be a budget issue, or it could be the fact that he was too busy, but really any of the Alpha voice actors I would have brought back. Even the frickin' New York accent one I would have brought back. I mean, just to have like a new voice as Alpha, and a terrible Alpha, mind you, I just didn't understand it. And also another thing I want to complain about is the box that Alpha was put in. I think it was kind of retarded. I mean, it was a freaking box that literally looked like it was painted the Power Ranger symbol on there. I mean, well, really just a lightning bolt symbol, but whatever. It was just so fucking stupid. I mean, you really couldn't put the budget into actually getting like a professionally done box. I mean, what the fuck? It's just like literally just a wooden box with the fucking like painting of a fucking Power Ranger symbol. It's like, what the fuck? A big complaint that people have about this episode is, well, 2 complaints. Is one, how did Alpha get into the box? I complain about that too. But the part of that people complain about is how did he get back from Miranoi? Because this is Alpha 6, which he was the Alpha with the Brooklyn accent thing, whatever, New York accent from Turbo. And then he was in Space and then in Lost Galaxy. And he ended up on Miranoi at the end of Lost Galaxy. And it's never explained how he got back. However, also came back from Miranoi. The way I like to think about it is maybe they came back when there was the wormhole in Trakina's Revenge. Or either that, or maybe they got home by fixing Terra Venture's dome and somehow was able to create a spaceship out of it. I don't know. Maybe even the jammers from Lost Galaxy. Then again, I forgot if they were destroyed or not. But whatever, like they could have used those to transport like selected people back to Earth. I don't know. Either way, it got back somehow. And then the other complaint that people have is obviously Thrax. Now, Thrax looks like an adult and everything, and yet he was Zed and Rita's son. I mean, the only time that they could have had a baby was in the Turbo era, where like they pretty much went missing during Turbo. So that would have been the one place that made more sense, that they would have had a son in. I mean, the way I like to think about it, which is not really the most popular thing, is that I think that Rita and Zed fucked, like, before frickin' she was sealed away and shit. Even though, like, he didn't even remember her in Mighty Morphin. I really don't give a shit. Most people think that he was born during Turbo and he just grew fast because he is an alien and everything, which is also a reasonable explanation, probably more reasonable than mine, but whatever, fuck it. My major complaint with this episode, though, is that the fact that it was focused on the Operation Overdrive Rangers. I did not understand this. I don't understand what's the point of bringing back all these Rangers that you don't really focus on. I mean, they had a couple scenes here and there, but I mean, the main focus of the episode was the Operation Overdrive Rangers, which to me made no sense. I mean, they're quite possibly one of the worst groups of Power Rangers out there, yet you focus the entire fucking 15th anniversary episode on them? Part about them splitting up and stuff, I was okay with that. I couldn't give two shits about them. I was hoping that they would stay that way, even though it's kind of obvious they wouldn't, since it is Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. So, like, when they showed, like, what each individual was doing, it was so fucking stupid. Like, Ronnie wins another championship, yay. Frickin' Dax is left hanging like he was in the first episode, and they say he's in New Zealand, how convenient. Frickin' Will stole another painting and got checked for it, what the fuck. Frickin' Rose is teaching, and I love how everyone clapped, like, after she was finished with her lecture. No one fucking claps for your professor when they're done doing a lecture. You fucking leave and don't give a shit. Like, really, the parts of the episode that focused on Operation Overdrive Rangers were the worst parts of the episode. Like the part where they're trying to get this sword, Excelsior, whatever the fuck it's called. That was really like one of the worst parts of the fucking episode. Fucking Mac falls down the fucking hole, and all of a sudden he climbs up, and then in the next scene, there's no fucking hole behind him. Like, what the hell? And then, of course, like, right after he gets out of the fucking hole, there's the fucking sword right there. Just so convenient. The Megazord fight in this episode is actually the only Sentai footage used in the entire two-parter. I mean, I think there was some stock footage here and there, but I mean, the actual only Bokenger footage used in the episode was the part where they're the Megazord battle. I like the new cockpit footage of the like older Rangers inside the Megazord and stuff. It looked really awesome, really better quality than the Japanese footage. The thing that I don't like about it though is the fact that they had Mac, of all people, come in with Excelsior and fucking slice that monster in half. It was so retarded that the two Megazords couldn't destroy the fucking monster, yet Mac with a fucking sword just jumps up and slices it in half. It's like fucking retarded as hell. What's even more retarded is that even after like destroying that monster, he appears in the next fucking scene with the other villains. And they're like giving him more power and shit, and he transforms. That's even more fucking retarded. You just saw him be destroyed by Mac 2 seconds ago, yet he's in the next scene, like, just put back together and everything. One thing I do commend in this episode are the fights. I do think that the fights were done very, very well, especially the Unmorph fight that happened with the older Rangers. I think that was done really, really well. I really like that they brought back Plan Xander. I think that was awesome. I mean, that was one of my favorite parts of Mystic Force. The ending fight is something that I think is okay. I mean, it's definitely not the best out there. They could have done a lot better with that, but overall, I do think it is a pretty good fight. I just wish that Taizan could have had someone to fight with. I mean, I don't understand why they just didn't have Taizan fight with Adam and fight Thrax, but instead they had Taizan fight the monster by himself. While like Adam and Thrax fought one-on-one. I don't know. I mean, I really wish that there was a sixth Ranger, but I mean, the only one that they could have brought back was Merrick, so I don't know if they could have even got him back. I hate that the freaking sword brought back the Sentinel Knight to his original form. I thought that was retarded as hell. I mean, in the Sentai, the Sentinel Knight is actually a precious. I mean, he is the sword. The sword is him. He is a sword that can transform into a warrior and stuff like that. While here, the sword, he somehow merges himself with the sword or something. I don't know. I never liked the Sentinel Knight. I respect that he was voice acted by Nick Sampson, who played Chip in Mystic Force, which I want to mention, by the way, in my Super Mega Force video, I accidentally called him, was it Chad? I don't know where I got Chad from, but whatever, fuck it. I don't like how Thrax was defeated. It was just retarded. Like, 3 kicks from the Sentinel Knight and he's fucking defeated. I mean, if the Sentinel Knight was really that powerful, why didn't they bring back the Sentinel Knight earlier in the season? Why couldn't they have them help him earlier on? And this is more of a mix of a Sentai footage issue and the writers just being retarded, which pretty much happened throughout the entire season of Operation Overdrive. I really like the last scene of the episode. I think it was really cool at the end that when they were just like pretty much bringing up what they're currently doing. Like that Tori owns a surf shop or whatever. She sells customized surfboards. Kira is working on a new album. Xander's still doing the exact same shit he was doing last year. And Adam still lives in Andrew Grove. And apparently Bridge still loves fucking toast. So, he still likes it buttery. Going back to the references that I forgot, they did mention Tommy, the fact that well, both Kira and Adam obviously were teams with him, and she mentioned that he's a doctor, and Adam was like, I can't believe he's a doctor. Now, something I forgot to mention is Adam's morph. I actually really like the morph. To be honest, I mean, some fans don't like it, and some think that it's alright. I actually liked it. I mean, I think it's better than the original, where he's just fucking just saying Macedon. I mean, I really liked it. I mean, I don't think anyone else is going to be. I mean, it looks like just every other fucking morph from the Disney era, but I mean, whatever, I liked it. And he also does, like, the full morphing preparation thing at the beginning, like, that isn't seen that much in Mighty Morphin. Like, you only see it, I believe, once or twice in Mighty Morphin, because most of the time they just say it's morphing time and just go straight into the morph. But this time they actually did the full thing where he gets the morpher and all that shit, so that was pretty cool. Bridge also had a new morph since he is the Red Ranger now. It was a lot like Hat's morph in SPD. Pretty much, actually, it was almost exactly the same, just with red instead of orange. Now, something else that people complain about in this episode is the fact that they didn't use the original theme song of Mighty Morphin Go-Go Power Rangers. I understand it. I mean, the reason why is because copyright issues. That's the main reason. Because I believe Saban owns the rights to the song. It's not really stated who actually owns the rights to the song, but from what I understand, Saban does. Disney never used that song yet. Now Saban is using it for Samurai and Megaforce. And I know for sure that Ron Wasserman doesn't own the rights to the song, so it has to be Saban. I mean, that's the only people I can think of that would own the rights right now. Or maybe it was like a joint deal between Wasserman and Saban. I don't know. But whatever, it was pretty complicated, and Disney didn't have the rights to the song, so that's why they didn't use it. They used a very generic rock song. It was actually okay. I mean, it's definitely not as good as Go-Go Power Rangers, but I mean, I thought it was alright. I mean, good background music, whatever. What's so weird, though, is that the 3 male Rangers that they brought back were all Green Rangers at some point. I mean, that was kind of random, just to put that in, just randomly in this video, but whatever. So yeah, I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to talk about for this episode. I mean, I might have left out, like, a few things here and there, but whatever. So yeah, my overall thoughts on this episode is that it's good. I think it's a great episode. I don't think it's a perfect episode. I don't think it's among, like, the top 10 or anything like that, but I do think it is a good episode. I made a list recently of my favorite episodes of Power Rangers. I believe I put it at, like, number 18 to 20 in that range. I don't actually remember, really, but it was somewhat high. And it's a very historic episode. I mean, it is the 15th anniversary episode, so you can't really complain that much, especially with the Rangers that they brought back. This episode definitely has its problems. I think almost every episode has its problems. I mean, I can't think of a truly perfect episode where there's no issues with the episode at all. Even my favorite episode of all time has issues. I mean, I acknowledge that, but I still really enjoy it. And I think it's the same way for this episode. This episode definitely has its problems, but I enjoy the episode as a whole. But if I were to give it a rating out of 10, it would probably be an 8, maybe. I think it would have to be an 8. As much as I like this episode, and as much as it has some really awesome stuff in it, it just has too many problems that I can't really ignore. A lot of plot holes and stuff like that. So I would give it an 8. It's a good episode, but just not the greatest out there. So yeah, that's my review of Once a Ranger. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. I don't know what the next video will be about, but I guess you'll find out when I put up the next video. So yeah, thank you for watching.